Alright folks, I've been getting a lot of requests for E36 M3 videos. So here we go. Guess what happened? Today, my fuel pump went out. Just seized up. Here's the old one. Burned up, and apparently the positive lead here, it just completely overheated and melted the plastic and everything. So in going inside in the car and looking at the electrical connector, it's all burned up too. So I'm going to have to switch out the electrical connector. So I went and got this this new one here actually at a wrecking yard, but somebody looked like they just changed it, so it looks brand new. And I also cut the wiring harness because I'm going to solder in new clean connectors. And the reason it overheated was because I had put a high performance pump in. It had the wrong gauge wires on it, and they melted my wire connectors. So I'm putting OEM back in. So anyway, we're going to see two things today. We go back here, take the seat out, remove and replace the fuel pump, and I'm going to solder in new electrical connectors. So you'll see me do some soldering on the wiring. Alright, getting to the fuel pump is pretty simple. All you got to do is lift up this back seat here, and it's just snapped in. Pop it up like that, and I usually just take mine out and put it on the roof of the car. I just take it out like this, and put it on the roof. Then you can access your fuel pump. Here, there's 4 little screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. You take those out, and I'll do that with my hands free, and then you can see the pump. The pump that's in there now is a buddy came and rescued me. Let me borrow his, but I got to give it back. So you take that out and redo the wiring, and then return his pump. This is what it looks like from over here with the lid off. We'll go take a closer look on the other side. Okay, so here's a closer up view of what it looks like underneath that cover. And here are the two electrical connectors right here. There's a white one here and a black one. And they both come off. Man, there's just not much light here, is there? Oh, let's see if I can get like. There we go. Take the gasket out of the way. Still isn't enough light, but. Pull that one. And here they are. And this is the one that got burned up. It's all, see, it got hot and it just cracked the plastic and destroyed it. So I'm going to have to wire in a new one of these. Okay. Next you want to unscrew your fuel supply line, which is right here. There's a little hose clamp right there, and you want to unscrew that. You get a flathead screwdriver. I had a Phillips. Let's get a flathead screwdriver here. And, well, you know what? I'm going to leave that for now, and we're going to do the wire first and keep this gas closed so we don't have fumes or anything. I disconnected the battery already, so let's do that. So we're ready to do the rewiring work. Got some little shrink tubing here, and I got my wires. I took these wires loose from each other, and I got these cool tools here. I got this wire stripper, so we're going to go ahead and strip off a little over 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch here, so you can see how this works. It just goes in here like this. Just put your wire in, pick your length. You can kind of check it first, and this thing just snaps the wire off. So watch this. Boop. Uh-oh, what happened? Something's not working right. This was working quite a minute ago. Let's see here. There we go. And it just strips the wire really, really nice. Now I'm prepping these wires for soldering. And then, boop. That's the easiest way I know to strip wires. So now I got this other nifty little tool. It cuts. So I'm going to go inside and cut the other end, and then we will solder these together. I'll put these on here first so I don't forget. Let me get inside. And oh shoot. So I'm going to shrink tube it. Then I'm going to liquid electrical tape it, and then I'm going to regular electrical tape it, and then I'm going to put the new I put this new fuel pump in. I'll take the one out that's in there because I borrowed that from a buddy. So let's go and do this in the car. Alright, so now we're going to do the other end of the wire. We're going to cut the old, going to cut this off. So I got this nifty little tool here, and it will cut just like that. Cut the old connector off. And then we're going to strip these wires, and we're going to solder these two together. Now I got my little helping hand thing here, so we're going to set this up to hold it steady while I solder it, and I'll let you watch me solder it, and then we'll put the new fuel pump in. Just a quick side note, this is the anatomy of the fuel pump. This is the float for the sending unit. Okay, there's two wires that control this. That's what the white plug on top, the white plug goes to the sending unit. That's this little brown and black wire. They go to the sending unit. And then the motor for the pump is right here. And here's the outlet. And it goes up to the top and comes out right here. So that is how your fuel system gets supplied with fuel pressure. And then it gets regulated and fuel injected and computers and everything. Just a little side note. Okay. Alright, we're in the car and I finally got some light in here, so you can actually see what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and strip these wires. This is on the harness side. And show you, this thing is so cool. I like watching it. Just go like that and boop, you strip your wires. You got to make this little screw here is adjusted so that it has enough tension to pull it off. And then do it again. Boop, boop. I got a piece of insulation stuck in there. Let me see, you get in there and strip. Awesome. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up on my helping hands. Here I got the little helping hand system from Harbor Freight. Awesome. And I'm going to have the wires held by this, so my hands are free to actually, what is this, the unboxing? Pocket knife. Always have a good pocket knife handy. You never know when you're going to need to open a package. Alright, so get rid of this. Somebody wants to hear that. And I got a magnet, ta-da, to help hold the holder. And let's see, how does this work? Looks like kind of neat. It looks like those things that people use to smoke weed. I don't smoke weed though. And I don't need this magnifying glass. So I'm tempted to just take it off. So it's not in my way, but I don't want to lose it or scratch it. So I just tighten it up and leave it out of the way. Alright, so now my little helping hand, I want it up like this. Tighten it, tighten it, tighten it. Oh, this is nice. And then, oh God, I should have bought one of these years ago. I should have bought one of these years ago. Look at this. This is nice. So I'm going to have this hold the wires for me. I'm happy that I remembered to put the little shrink tube on first, so I'm not trying to get it in after. So I'll do them one at a time. And I think I just have I'll do the brown one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist these together. See, like this. I'm going to put them together, and then I'm going to twist them, because actually, you know what? Really, put them together, twist, and then what's going to happen is I'm going to solder this together, but I got to cover this wire with flux first, and then I got to heat up the bottom of the wire. heat up the wire, and then put the solder to this. That's not. I'm trying to talk and think at the same time. I'm not an expert solderer, as you may have gathered. So there's absolutely zero room over here. Let me see if I can squeeze this. All right, and then get this together like so. Get a good twist on it so that it's pretty tight. And then I'm going to go get my soldering gun, and I'm going to heat that from the bottom. And then after I heat it from the bottom, I'm going to put the solder to it, and the flux will help it flow to make a really, really good good connection. Then I'll put the shrink tube on, I'll put the liquid electrical tape on, and I'll put the real electrical tape on, and then we'll be ready to take the old pump out and put the old and the new pump in. Let me go get some solder. I'm gonna pause you. Alright, so I got my little soldering iron here heating up, and I got my flux. Okay, I got my flux and I got my solder. So what I'm going to do is just going to use a little bit of this solder here and flux up my wire. I'm going to put some flux on my wire, and this will help the solder to flow. It'll also let me know when it's hot, when I start heating it up with the hot, because it'll melt and it'll run, and then it'll help the solder flow. Plus it protects the wire. And where did I learn all this? On YouTube. And I forget who I watched. I watched a bunch of people. I forget who I watched, but you can learn a lot on YouTube, and that's where I learned how to use at least some correct soldering technique. And I'm going to go ahead and put some more my tip. I don't know if this is hot yet. Ooh, not yet. It's warming up. A little bit of solder on the tip here. Looks like I forgot to store it that way last time and oxidized. I should clean that up and get this tip nice and clean, but it's not too bad. Like I don't know. But I think it'll be okay, as long as it gets hot. There we go. Tin that tip a little bit. Then I'm going to take this and heat up this wire till this wire is hot. So I'm going to put this onto the wire for a while and get this wire hot. And then when I see that resin start to melt, look at that. When that resin starts to melt, then I know I can come with my solder on top and touch the solder to the wire, not the iron. I'm going to solder just a little bit first and get it to stick together, and then I'll move down and solder some more. Kind of like welding, only on a smaller scale and different materials. So let's see that wire getting hot, because it was easy when I watched them do it. So let's see if I can do it. I think the problem is my wires aren't twisted tight enough for the heat to transfer all the way through and melt this solder. That's what it looks like. Just from a physical perspective, it looks like there's air in between. So try number one. I'm getting ready to give up and take it loose and twist it tighter if this doesn't start melting. It's got about 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna 4, 3, 2, 1. I give up. All right, so I'm not doing it right. So I gotta pause you again. Get it started. I say don't put it on the tip, but I'm putting it on the tip because it works. It's working, and I'm sorry, but I need this thing soldered, so I'm gonna do it wrong to get it done. Sorry, solder dudes, but This amateur here needs to get this job done. I just need this stuff melted. I need this wire covered completely. And I need it covered well. And I mean well. Because I do not want this coming loose. Yeah. Look at that. Now that's stronger than the original. Underneath, on the top. That's what I'm talking about, Lois. Done. Alright. Next, we're going to do the green wire. Then we're going to shrink them. And next, and next. So let me put this back in here. And get the green wire ready. I'm not going to make you watch that. Jeez. Alright, the new connector is all soldered on. Now all I have to do is shrink, protect it, and put the tape on. Solder's done. It's not pretty, but it's substantial. It's not going to come loose. So let's go ahead and protect those and swap out the pump. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put the shrink tubing on. Even though the gas tank's all sealed up and everything, I don't want to use open flame in here. So I'm going to use a heat gun and shrink it like that. I got a little heat gun here. So I want to get this covering up the solder joints and center it if I can. Those solders are so big and ugly, it won't even go over them. Oh man. If it's not one thing, it's another, you know? Okay, so I'm going to use a heat gun to shrink my little shrink wraps on and make sure I don't heat gun my hand in the process. Because I don't want a live flame in here. So this should work just fine. Let's see what we get here. Get the heat gun going. And this should shrink down nicely. And then there you go, see? And then I will use some liquid electrical tape to make sure we seal up any little cracks where we could get moisture in there. And then I'll use regular tape on top of that while the liquid tape is still liquid, so it will squish into any little crevices. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Alright. And look at that. The car didn't blow up. Next, liquid electrical tape. Alright, so now I'm going to do this liquid electrical tape treatment over it. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to shore it up with some friction tape. So can you see that? Friction tape. And then after that, I'm going to set for a bit and then I'll come back with the electrical tape and put it all back together. So we'll open this up. Whoa. You can see, I've never used this before, to be honest with you. See here. Ooh, green, pretty. So, try not to get it all over the carpet. So we're just going to cover these a little bit just to, I didn't get over the cover. And seal the ends where air can get in. Seal all over the top where there could be holes. And then I'm going to just go right ahead and friction tape this. I think I put more than I needed. Friction tape them individually, and then we're going to come back with the electrical tape, and that'll be it. That'll be the final process of insulating these two wires. And let's see here, we have a nice clean electrical connector for my pump. Alright, got the wire all taped up, all 3 layers of tape, got the new connectors on, looking good. So now we get to the good part. Out with the old, in with the new. This is not really old, this is just out with the fuel pump that I borrowed. So let's take loose this little hose clamp here, and you can't really see it. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it a little bit. And you wiggle that hose off, loosen it up, move the hose clamp up. You want to be careful of that hose clamp so you don't drop it into the fuel tank too. Just be mindful of that. Then you want to, there's this ring right here. You want to push that counterclockwise, and there's little ribs all around. I use a screwdriver and then put it on one and push and kind of give a little bit of a shove, and that'll loosen it up. So you can turn that and get that off. And what I do once I get it off, I put some little anti-seize on the thread, so the next time it doesn't get all bound up if I need to take it off. So there we go. So we take this out. Here's the borrowed. And this is going to be kind of like delivering a baby. Not too bad though. And here comes the fuel pump that my friend let me borrow. There we go. Look at that. Alright, so we're going to take this one out and put it aside. And now we're going to take the one that I got today in regular and put it in. Now, one thing you want to do is you want to loosen this little gasket here, and you want to put it on the car first. Because if you try to just put it in, oh, that's going to be hard. It won't fit. Because this has a really tight fit and it pushes this gasket out. And you are going to play hell trying to get that to go in with it already on the pump. So, put this aside, put it in, and we're going to put that gasket on there first. And gently, don't be impatient. Let all the parts go in the way they're supposed to. And you want to line it up so that the outspout is lined up with the hose. So just be mindful of that little piece there. And then you want to line up your gasket first on the car. And then, once it's in, then you can put the pump down into this. So now we got the pump in nicely. So now, all we have to do is hook up our supply line here that comes from the pump. We're hooking up to the pump, but it comes from the pump to your fuel system, fuel rail. We'll get that on. Don't forget to tighten up this. This is one hose clamp you don't want to forget to tighten. So I'm going to tighten it up right away so that we don't have the opportunity to forget. Okay. And then we're going to plug in our fresh, clean, new to me connectors. And they're a go, no go, so you can't get them on the wrong one. So the white one goes here, like so, and the little black one goes here, like so. And then you can tuck the rest of this wire in here like so. I made it a little bit long. I didn't want to come up short. You put the gasket around here, and then you put the top back on and screw it down, and you are ready to go. You put your covering back over, put your seat, your rear seat back in, and it snaps down on these little hooks right here. These, it just slips, and that's it. That's how you change a fuel pump in the E36. So now I just put in these 4 little screws and take her for a drive. Thank you once again for watching. You still watching? Yeah. You guys love to see me struggle, huh? It's just entertaining, isn't it? Let me see, where's that hole? There we go. Like that. put this, get one of these started, and then I can just leave it loose and then do the other ones. Okay, make sure there's a little gasket there. Fish around for the threaded hole here. And then there were two. And there were two. And leave that one loose too. Let me go over here. And this story is coming to an end. A very hopefully happy end. I didn't test it before I buttoned it up because I have confidence that everything will work just fine, and if not, it's just a matter of 4 screws to get back in there. So I'm not overly worried about it. I think it's going to work for a lot of years, and then I'll have to do it again, probably in 10 years. And you just cover this up, and this goes over your little hook here where your seat snaps in. And don't worry about all my wires for my stereo. Thanks for watching for real this time. Okay, well, no good fuel pump video is complete without a test start. So let's see if it actually works. See if it'll start up here. That sounds good. Okay, I'm gonna go take a peek at the power plant. There she is. Beautiful. And she will run for a long time. Thanks for watching.